until YouTube pops up. Okay. Welcome everybody. Today we're with James Tench again. He's on death row at Chillicothe Correctional in Ohio, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the death penalty today, and our efforts to abolish it, which we hope will be a reality. Welcome, James.
How y'all doing?
Good. What's your thoughts? Since you're on death row, what's the thoughts of you and so many others that are on death row about abolishing the death sentence?
Well, okay, so the death penalty, all it is anymore, is a political tool. Just like everything else nowadays, especially every time you're trying to do something involving politics. Well, that's death penalty. The biggest problem with the death penalty is, especially like in Ohio, it's rarely ever even carried out. For example, I am 34 years old, and I've been on death row for 4.5 years now. So, to put that into context, there are people on death row. This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored. That have been here longer than I've been alive.
Wow.
There's guys that have been on death row since 1985. That is because, under the old law, they get many more chances at appeals that start at state court level, and along with the mental health issues that are now being diagnosed, and a lot of the guys on death row are being diagnosed with now already. That is allowing them to get back into court more often. And all that's doing is wasting more money. And ODRC is the biggest part of the state of Ohio's budget. Now, for example, what I mean, when all this COVID stuff happened, every single area, every single department of the Ohio state government got their budgets cut, except for ODRC. They would rather take away money from kids' education than take money away from the corrupt prison system. And that's the death penalty. Because death row has to be housed at a higher security level than any other inmate population. They need more experienced guards. They need, the staff gets higher pay. And everything else that goes with death row, especially if there's guys that are here, have been here for so long, that all it does is the population keeps aging. And with that aging, there's more medical expenses and all this other stuff that goes into it, that if these guys just had a life sentence, a lot of the expenses would not occur, whether it be with medical expenses, the extra security, extra court costs, attorney fees, all that stuff that the state of Ohio was covering and paying for. It would go away. And it could be used for more productive things like, children's education. Ohio doesn't see that because, like I said, they would rather take away money from the education department than Department of Corrections.
Right.
So when I say the death penalty is political, that's just it. When you think of death penalty, you think of Republicans, conservatives. Well, that's not even the case. Because Strickland, as a Democratic governor, executed more inmates on death row than Kasich and now DeWine combined. Now, I have a list of around 350 inmates throughout the entire country since 1972 that have been exonerated from being convicted with death penalty specifications throughout the entire country. penalty is such a huge topic when it comes to the legal system is because it creates higher. It makes the jury think it's a more serious case. It's a more viable case. There's a lot more against the defendant. When you have cases like mine where there's no real physical evidence. It's all weak circumstantial and unproven theories. But when the jury hears death penalty, it plays mind games with them. Psychologically gets in their mind like, oh, this is really bad, so we must convict him. We must give the death penalty because he's a bad person. So the death penalty itself, it doesn't make sense. Since I've been on death row in 4.5 years, they've only executed 3 people.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
There's been 5 other guys that have died from some other cause, whether it be, disease, old age, whatever.
Hey, you have somebody watching on YouTube said you're 100% correct. Something Pagan Ministries. I can't see it. I don't have. Some Ministries is watching.
Okay.
So.
Well, I see it every day. And there are a lot of guys that they have such mental illness that they can't even comprehend what they did was wrong.
Hi, Donna. Yeah.
There are guys on here on death row that literally have not even showered in 5 years since I've been here, or 4.5 years since I've been here, because they have such mental problems.
Right.
So why would somebody that can't even function as an everyday person, the seriousness of what they've done? Now, there's also been, since I've been here, there's been 4 guys that have gotten off death row for some kind of mental health defect. There's also been 4 other guys that have gotten off death row since I've been here for some error of their trial, or the fact that they've just been innocent.
Right.
So you're losing, all these other guys. There's 140 guys on death row at this time.
Right.
So the likelihood of all those getting executed is like 1%. Because, like I said, in 4.5 years, there's only been 3 executions. There have been 2 others that have been tried. One was failed, and the other one got a stay at the last day. So it is completely political, just like everything else in this world right now, which is exactly what we do not need in this country, in Ohio. I mean, so you have guys that, or girls, because a female was just executed by the feds the other day.
Right. I saw that.
You have all these guys that have all these dates. There's one guy on here since I've been here. He's had 3 execution dates that have changed. It's gotten to a month of his execution ever.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
It's gotten to a month within his execution every single time. Then he gets a stay. One time it was like literally the day before. But what kind of psychological impact does that have on the victim's family?
And the prisoner. And the prisoner.
And a lot of people don't even care about the prisoners. But I'm saying just the victim's family in general. The victim's family thinks they're going to get some kind of, third world justice by executing somebody that killed one of their loved ones. But it gets closer and closer, and then it gets to stay. So the idea of them getting justice for that is out the window. Me, okay? I am here. I am wrongfully convicted of killing my own mother. Me personally, if I were to get my conviction overturned, I would not want to see the person that actually did this get the death penalty, because it just makes matters worse. It's not always an eye for an eye. There's so much more time and weight that goes into the death penalty, and emotion that goes into the death penalty. It's not even fun. For me, all I care about is getting justice, real justice for my mother. That's all I care about. Real justice will be the actual person that did this gets convicted and gets sentenced to life in prison. Because to make it even sound even better, a life sentence is actually it's actually a worse sentence than a death penalty sentence. Because psychologically, you are someone like me. I'm 34 years old. Life expectancy 70, 75, 80. So I'll be in prison for 6 years. You know, at the most. And I would have to live every day with, trying to make up for what I did wrong. Or trying to, understand why I did. But, if you look, you have guys that are executed, executed sometimes within 10, 15, 20 years. They don't have a lot of time to think about what they did. So, the death penalty itself it does not make sense anymore. Ohio is a state where it's a more liberal state. It's a Midwestern state. Have a lot of Southern values, which a lot of the Southern states aren't even getting rid of the death penalty anymore. You got, I believe Kentucky doesn't have it anymore. I know a lot of other Midwestern states don't have it anymore. I know Florida's had a hard time getting done recently. The only one that consistently gets it done is Texas. But what's the real point? The cost doesn't make sense. The overall means doesn't make sense. It's just a corrupt way for politicians to make themselves sound better in one way or the other. And for example, me in my county, I was the second person ever given the death penalty in Medina County. That was 4 years after the guy previously was given the death penalty, the first guy. Every 4 years in Medina County, when a judge or a prosecutor is up for election, they take a murder case now to put a death penalty on. It's all political. And why do we want to feed this political rhetoric and chaos that doesn't really help anybody? Because I guarantee you, after a person is executed,
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional.
Donna, I want to interview you sometime too,
after a person is executed
on your
after
ministry.
15, 20, 25 years of being on death row,
You have 1 minute remaining.
the family does not, of the person that was killed, does not always feel better. Because you still can't bring their loved one back.
Right.
So that's my whole theory on the death penalty is just the cost and the time and how just none of it makes sense.
Okay. Let's plan on next Thursday at 2:00 again. Okay.
That's fine. If anybody wants to have any more discussions with me about my wrongful conviction and the proofs I have and proves that, please reach out to me on JPay. James can give you guys the information for that. I need help. Like you would have believed, just trying to get real justice for my mom. And that's all.
Thank you for using GTL.
Our hopes and prayers are that these people on death row will have a fighting chance. And, James, I've talked to him several times. There's no doubt in my mind that he's innocent of this crime, and someone else committed the murder against his mother. There's speculations on who it is. I'm not at liberty to say at this moment. But if you would be interested in being interviewed, please let us know. You could email us at changestartswithusohio@gmail.com. Or you could give me a call directly at 380-799-3868. Donna, I would like to interview you as well. I know you deal with a lot of death row inmates and people behind bars. There's so many good ministries out there that do care about these folks that are behind bars, and we need to support them as they're supporting our people and praying for our people and going the extra mile. So it's really an honor to be able to talk to Jim as many times as we have. He's he's been down. I don't know, Donna, how long has he been down? 4 years, something like that. I think he said. But he needs legal representation. He wants to get real justice for his mother, which is understandable. And he should not be on death row. He should not be in prison. So are we as Ohioans or even Americans, are we going to sit back and allow misjudges, people to sit in prison that are innocent, or are we going to actually do what's right and insist that the truth comes out, people get a fair trial, and start replacing prosecutors throughout, the state of Ohio and our nation, instead of the ones that say in 20, 30, 40 years, put term limits on them as well, like other offices. Until next time, folks, I think I'm doing an interview tonight. I can't remember offhand. But we will. I won't be on Facebook Live, though. I'll just be doing a YouTube. Please like our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it at Change Starts With Us Ohio. Again, that is Change Starts With Us Ohio on YouTube. Thank you, everyone.